who are you, where are you from, and can you give me a brief background on you?
My name is Emily Heneghan. I'm from Glen Ellen, Illinois, near Chicago. I am 19. I go to art school in the city. I started the year as a film major last year, but now I'm a fashion major because I really do all sorts of art, and it was, kind of harming me to have that label. My teacher actually said something that made me change my major, period. He was like, an artist doesn't care if people understand their message, but a filmmaker does. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I don't care, it's for me. When I was little, I just kind of acted different than other people, I think, is what my parents noticed. Whenever I would go to daycare, I'd want to wear 4 skirts at the same time and my ballet shoes and a crazy top. And my parents would let me, but at daycare they'd be like, oh, you're gonna trip, you shouldn't wear that. And so I would just want to do things like that. And I also, I used to play soccer when I was little, and there's videos of me during the soccer practice where and we were pretty little, so it was allowed, but I was in my Tinkerbell outfit and everyone else was in their soccer uniforms, and I was picking up stuff, and there was literally a game going on, and I could not, I was just did not care. So I think that I've always kind of marched to the beat of my own drum. And I also think I have some learning setbacks that make me not as it's just so much more fulfilling to express myself in different ways, because it's kind of hard for me to express myself through the traditional school stuff, I guess. Not that people do, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And when it came to you coming across that revelation, was it, just one moment or 1 or 2 moments like the soccer thing, or would you say it was kind of just something accumulating over time?
It was never really a choice, because I was always I guess everyone is born super creative, because kids are so free, but my parents really nurtured that, and whenever I would play a crazy song or put on a crazy outfit, they would cheer for me and take pictures. And so I think it was more so having that spark and never having anyone stomp on it either, which was really nice. When I started in 2020, I kind of didn't know how to merge my art with clothing, so I was kind of just sewing on stuff and seeing how it looked. But nowadays, and from practicing and taking a lot of breaks, because I tend to put a lot of pressure on things, so I have to say when I'm making art, I'm this is just for fun, this is not for clothing. And then eventually it'll kind of work its way into my clothing. So it definitely starts out as art pieces. I do a lot of collage work and stuff like that, and then I end up doing fabric prints or manufacturing a product with my stuff on it. So I try to do that mostly nowadays because it's the most meaningful to me. I consider them sacred or diary pieces almost, and the things that I make, more so considering consumption, don't really fulfill me as much. So that's you gotta balance that in life too. I just prefer creating pieces, I like to say, isolated from thinking about fashion, because it's just something that I can be messy upon and just pour my thoughts upon and objects into, which is I'm really into scanning things and cutting them out and photoshopping them together. You are what you create, so it's just getting what's in my head and heart out onto paper, and it's wow, this came out pretty cool. So I would rather put that into clothing, because you can I don't know, whether how big or how small, it's still on you, which is really cool. So I like that a lot more nowadays than composing pieces just on just on the clothing design principles. But that could definitely change.
This next question I got for you, what would you say makes an outfit special and or unique?
I think if you feel fun and light and just a sense of happiness and expression through it, then it's fun and unique. Because it really doesn't matter what anyone thinks, because there's just so many, I'm thinking about the fashion program at my school at least. There's no correct definition, because everyone dresses so differently and you can appreciate all of it. But if I were to that's hypothetically, but if I were to say materially, I would think something that someone maybe made. or that you got handed down or from your grandma or something like that.
This next question I got for you, what are 3 pieces of advice you'd give to someone new to fashion or dressing themselves?
Ooh, okay. I would say, cause I really started learning how to express myself like that when I was little. So I would say, think about what you would maybe want to wear when you were 5. Like what you would see from TV and be like, that's really cool. But how could you create that in a sophisticated sort of way? So whether it's like Hannah Montana's cool outfits or something, like I would say visualize what your inner child wants to wear and try to make that almost like street worthy and comfy and sustainable. Yeah.
I love that. And how would you suggest, I know you said sustainable, and in today's day and age, it feels like it's getting harder and harder to find pieces that are sustainable.
Yeah.
How would you suggest to people to find sustainable clothing that is still true to themselves?
If you're struggling with inspiration, I would browse Pinterest, because if you get on the right threads, most of the outfits are thrifted clothes. But otherwise, I would go to Depop, or I would follow hashtags like sustainable fashion on Instagram, and those are just great resources, and you'll just find more and more creators who make that kind of stuff. Yeah, or just go to thrift stores with your friends and say like, can you help me look for stuff? And you'll get a knack for it over time and develop a style. In this day and age of like Instagram and, you know, obviously being this age, and if you go to school choosing a major, it's super hard to feel kind of fluid in what you do. So that's something I'm kind of trying to challenge, because I did start out as a film student making films all of high school, and even if there was just a few. So even though my focus is fashion, I'm trying to do the mental reset of like referring to people as artists. So I think that's just like a cool theme nowadays, because we are so trapped in like the labels, which can be super helpful, but it's confined to me before.